Hello students, today we are going to talk a bit lengthy about a bit lengthy topic where we will try to find the magnetic field generated by a live circular loop. Say for example, we have a circular loop as you see in the diagram. You have a circular loop which is carrying some current I, and when seen at the loop, say for example we are having loop over here and I am seeing at the loop the current appears to be anti-clockwise, that we have assumed. And once anti-clockwise current is established in the loop, current is there, so magnetic field has to be there. We want to find the magnetic field due to this current loop at any point P which is lying on the axis of this loop at x distance from it, means OP value is x. Now before we really start finding the value of magnetic field at point P, we have taken certain things. Say for example, we take certain points A and B, diametrically opposite points on the loop, where we take some current element DL1 and DL2 respectively, and due to this current element we can find some what is the magnetic field at point P using the Biot-Savart law. Here we have taken the distance of point A from point B equal to small r, which is equal to, according to the Pythagoras theorem, will be equal to under root x square plus r square, where capital R is the radius of the loop and x is the distance of point P from the center of the loop. And we also take that angle APO is theta, and similarly angle BPO is also theta, because you see x is is the bisector of this total angle APB. And now we are in a position to start finding the magnetic field at point P due to the whole current loop, circular loop. Here we are assuming that the plane of the loop is in YZ plane. Means if you have three axes, this is x axis, this is y axis, and this is z axis, then the plane lies in the YZ axis, then the plane of the loop lies in the YZ plane. So this is y axis, this is z axis, it lies in the YZ plane, and the loop is having current in anti-clockwise direction when I see at it. It is for me anti-clockwise current. Now according to Biot-Savart law, we have magnetic field due to a current element dl is equal to I dl cross r divided by r vector cube of the r vector, magnitude of the r vector. So that means this is the vectorial form of the magnetic field produced due to a current element. Now you see, when we consider a current element DL1, the magnetic field at point P due to DL1 will be along the direction DB. You can very well understand this by applying the finding the direction of this cross product DL cross R. You see, if you have considered anti-clockwise current, then the current element at point A will be away from the observer, it will be away from you, and you see the direction of this AP will be always making 90 degree, direction of AP will be always making 90 degree with it, because you see it is moving in XY plane. And so if you expand, you will get sine 90 degree in the expansion of this cross product. And you see the direction of magnetic field at point P due to current element DL1, it should be essentially perpendicular to the plane containing DL1 and the plane containing vector r. So you see, this is vector r, this is vector dl. So you need to have a magnetic field perpendicular to this plane, So had it been the vector r, had it been in horizontal direction, then the magnetic field would have been in vertically downward direction. But since r is not in horizontal plane, it is making some angle with the horizontal, say theta, and therefore the magnetic field will be also making some angle theta with the vertical, and therefore the direction of dB is making theta angle with the vertically downward direction, dB1. I believe that you have understood. You can do this exercise yourself for better understanding. And now in same fashion we can see that the magnetic field dB2 due to current element dl2 lying at point B, you see this time the current element will be, you have anti-clockwise current, remember, for me. So for the bottom you have dl2 directed towards you, and then the direction of direction of r will be like this. So that means you have a magnetic field perpendicular to the plane containing dl and r. So you have direction of magnetic field dB2 as shown in the figure. Now from the figure, now it is obvious. Once you have understood, if you have any problem, you try it once again yourself. And see, once you have understood the direction of dB1 and dB2, you can very well see that they are making same angle with the vertical directions. So their vertical components dB2 cos theta will be cancelling dB1 cos theta, because dB1 and dB2 we have named it for different current elements taken, but the current elements are identical. Their distance from the point is also identical. They make same angle with the point, and therefore in this expression we will always have dB1 is equal to dB2. So that means dB2 cos theta is nothing but dB1 cos theta, and they cancel each other. So vertical components are cancelled. Only we are left with the horizontal components of dB1 and dB2. So we take dB1 is equal to dB2 is equal to B for our convenience. So now what you see, the magnetic field is making a theta angle. You can understand, we have already discussed. And similarly the magnetic field due to another element will make theta angle, and their horizontal component survives and vertical component cancel each other. So for every point on the loop we have a corresponding diametrically opposite point, and so for all such pairs of points you will see that the vertical components are cancelled. Therefore only the horizontal components of each current element survives, and so the total magnetic field at point P due to the whole loop will be nothing but the integration of this expression having dB sin theta, only having dB sin theta. dB is there, but only one component dB sin theta is surviving. So we have the magnetic field at point P, that is axial point P, equal to dB sin theta integrated for the whole loop, and this symbol is indicating the integration for the whole loop. And once you have understood this, because you see only dB sin theta for each current element survives, so we are having this component only, and we can integrate it, we will get the total magnetic field. Here you see for dB you can write using this Biot-Savart law, dB is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi I dl cross r by r vector to the power 3. But here you see when you find the cross product, you have sin 90 degree on expansion, magnitude of dl, magnitude of r, and sin 90 degree, because I have just shown you that they are the vector r is always making 90 degree with the vector dl. So therefore on expanding it you get sin 90, that is sin 90 is 1. But one more factor is there, sin theta. So we are left with sin theta, and we expand the value of dB, and we get sine theta here, dl, magnitude of dl, magnitude of r, sine 90 degree, and divided by r, magnitude of r to the power 3, mu 0 by 4 pi is there. And for sine theta, we can have from the diagram, sine theta, this is angle APO is theta, and therefore sine theta is perpendicular upon hypotenuse, so it is r divided by AP, and AP is under root x square plus r square whole under root. And therefore for sine theta we write capital R by r, where capital R is the radius of the loop and the small r is the distance AP, whose value is x square plus r square whole under root. Now once we have got this expression, we rewrite it. So we write a magnetic field at axial point due to a current loop will be mu 0 by 4 pi was already there. We take it out because it is constant. We take it out from the integration. I is constant, and here you see one magnitude of r is there in the numerator, and r cube magnitude of r is having power 3 in the denominator, so only 2 survives in the denominator. And so we write I by r square. I is there, r square is there, so we write it I by r square. We leave the dl within the integration because dl is to be added, and sine theta is sine 90 degrees 1, so we leave it 1, and r by small r, capital R by small r is there, so 1 r is there in the denominator, and r square is there in the denominator, so it finally becomes r cube. And capital R is, so I capital R divided by r cube, mu 0 by 4 pi is there, and within the integral remains dl. Now when you add up all such current elements, you add up all current elements of this loop, then it should be equal to the circumference of the loop. It should be equal to the circumference of the loop. So therefore we have on integration of dl, we have these things are there, but for r cube, small r cube, you see r value is how much? X square plus r square whole under root, and that to the power 3 means 3 by 2, power 3 by 2. So here you are having mu 0 by 4 pi is there, IR is there, divided by r cube means x square plus r square whole to the power 3 by 2 is for r cube value. And for integral value dl, integral dl is equal to 2 pi capital R. So now you have mu 0 by 4 pi, 2 factor is there, I is there, and pi is there, r into r becomes r square divided by x square plus r square whole to the power 3 by 2. You see it is quite mathematical, but you need to understand it, and you will enjoy once you understand it. So I am very much discussing it very elaborately so that you don't have any problem, and it never becomes unpleasant and teasing for you while you learn it. So you see mu 0 by 4 pi 2i pi r square. For pi r square you can write the area of the loop is pi r square, because you have the formula area of the circle is pi r square, and so here pi r square is replaced by a. So you get magnetic field at any axial point due to a current loop is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi 2ia divided by x square plus r square whole to the power 3 by 2. And of course you see the direction of magnetic field, all the components, horizontal components, are directed towards point O. So it is always along P to O. Here you can also understand, and we will further discuss in the second part of this topic, that the direction of magnetic field is always directed towards the observer for whom the current loop is anticlockwise. Had it been the case that I was looking at the loop from that side, then the same current loop which is anticlockwise for me, when you look, it will be clockwise for you, and for me it is anticlockwise. You see it is anticlockwise, but when you look at it, it becomes clockwise. So that means for an observer for whom the current loop is clockwise, the magnetic field is always away from the observer. So here we have I am looking at the loop for which the current is anticlockwise. In that case, the magnetic field is directed towards the observer. We have two different cases. If x is much greater than capital R, means this distance axial point is much far from the center of the loop as compared to the radius of the loop. That means x is much greater than capital R. So we can ignore capital R because R is smaller than x, and therefore we have mu 0 by far axial point, magnetic field at far axial point is mu 0 by 4 pi 2ia upon x to the power 3. Direction is along P to O, means from P to O. And case 2 is if we take x is equal to 0, that means if this point is lying on the center of the loop, in that case, in this relation we can put x is equal to 0, and for that we have magnetic field at the center due to current loop is equal to mu 0 by 4 pi 2ia divided by r to the power capital R. This time it is capital R. Capital R is the radius of the loop, and direction is again from P to O. So this is all for today, and next day we will continue further talking about it. We will also learn that how we can see something logically. It is not possible, as you advance to higher levels, you can't see it always physically. Sometimes you have to see it logically, and we will see how we are going to see something logically and accept it in the next part of this topic. Thank you and have a nice day.